Hello art students, I hope you're excited to work with clay. I know I am. We're going to start creating our clay vessels today, and at this point you should already have your name on a Ziploc bag, and you should have your name on whatever base I gave you to put your clay on for moving it from drying location to tabletop location. All right, now today the first thing we're going to do is create a slab base for our vessel. We're going to need to do that by rolling out some clay into a slab that's the thickness of our pinky finger. So you're going to take a piece of clay about the size of the palm of your hand. So it should be a ball that can kind of fit in your hand like this. This is the best size to begin with. You're going to take that clay and you are going to first just kind of compress it in your hands. It's already wedged. So at this point you're just kind of making sure you get it into that round sphere form, and then you're going to place it down on a paper towel that's on top of your canvas board. You're going to take your hand and you're going to then flatten out the clay so that you're making it into more of a pancake. At this point it should be still pretty thick though, maybe as thick as your thumb, and now we're going to thin it out a bit more using a marker to roll with. Yes, I know we could use rolling pins, but we're just going to keep this simple. This is the only time we are going to need to roll a slab for this project. So using the old marker, just roll out the clay. If any of the clay sticks to the marker, it's not a really big deal. But if that's happening, it's just because the clay is really soft. So one way to fix that could be flipping over your clay, because the paper towel will absorb some of the excess water. So you can always flip that over and continue. Now just make sure that you're rolling out the clay evenly and that you're not getting it too thin. Okay, so we want this to maintain about a pinky finger thickness here. All right, once you think you've gotten there, and I feel like this is pretty good, I'm just checking it over, feeling it, making sure that it feels evenly thick. Now I can cut out whatever shape I want for my base. And if you're not happy with this oval shape, you could experiment with different shapes. However, I like this shape, so I'm going with it. I'm just going to go ahead and clean up the edges, but I'm going to really kind of keep it roughly this shape here. All right, so I feel like this is actually what I want for my slab, so I'm ready to move on to the next step. I'm going to take my slab and I'm just going to fold the paper towel underneath it. I'm going to keep it here on the paper towel though, and I'm going to set it on my board that has my name on it. Okay? All right, I'm just going to set it aside for a second because my next step is to roll out my first coil. Now this is already the start of a coil. I'm going to restart this for you because I think it'll be helpful to see from the very beginning what I would do. So I'm just going to take the clay first and squeeze it in my hand to get it to be like a sausage shape. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it on the canvas. It's best to roll it on the canvas because it doesn't stick to the canvas as easily and it'll be easier to clean up. As you're rolling, watch my hands. I'm rolling forward and backward while I'm also gently pulling my hands outward to the sides. I'll do that about 2 or 3 times. Then here's a trick. I'm going to take my coil and I'm going to twist it. Twist it. Just gently, not so much that you're breaking the coil. You're twisting it so that when you start rolling it again, you'll see what happens. It keeps it like a cylinder. It doesn't allow it to flatten. This is a really great trick. And if you struggled in the past with rolling coils, I really hope you find more success this year after doing it this way. Okay, so I'm continuing to roll more in the areas that are thicker. So I'm kind of finding those spots. If it gets too long, just break it into 2 pieces. That's never an issue here. In fact, I'm going to do it right now just so you can see that working with smaller length coils is no more challenging. So I'm trying to make sure my coils stay nice and smooth. If I see a spot that's really getting dried out, I'll just dip my finger in the slip. Just a tiny bit is all I would need though. Okay, my coils are done. Now I'm going to need to connect my coils to my base slab. This is going to start to give me the first little piece of height. So to do this, I need to score and slip the clay to attach. Now I'm first just going to lay out my clay, make sure it's long enough. It looks like I'm going to need both pieces, and that's okay. I want you to know that you don't have to have one piece that's big enough to go all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to plan on using 2 pieces. Let me just cut this here first. Okay, now when you trim coils, if you cut it at a bit of a beveled edge, this will be really helpful for smoothing the pieces together. All right, so my size is good. I'm going to lift this off now and show you how to score and slip. So to score and slip, scoring involves taking a pointy tool and roughening up the area that you are connecting. You want to think of the connection as Velcro. And so by creating these marks, and I'm just making crossing lines here, by creating these marks, I'm creating kind of like a Velcro. I'm going to do the same thing on my coil here. So I'm going to, while it's set out in the same position I want it to be in, I'm going to roughen up one side. This is the side that's going to connect to the base. So these marks will be hidden. I'm going to go all the way around, and you can see I'm trying to do this fast. I always try to score quickly because it's not about the way it looks, it's about the purpose of what it's going to do. It's going to keep this clay stuck together. Okay, my scoring is done. Now I'm going to slip. Put my hand in the water. The water has clay in it as well. That's what creates slip. Okay, it's like clay and water mixed together. And I'm going to put some of that slip on the area that is scored and on my coil. And now I'm going to flip it and attach it. And as I attach, I'm going to press the clay gently onto the base where it's connecting. Let me turn this so you can see what the side looks like here. I'm right up against the edge. Right up against the edge of the base, and I'm pressing this gently down all the way around it. Okay, I just kind of smoothed right over that area where the coil's connected. So now it looks like all one coil. Okay, you might be looking at this right now and thinking that that's it. I'm ready to move on and continue to add more height, but no, I'm not quite finished with this piece yet. I need to now blend the seam. I'm gonna take my wooden stick. It's got one side that's kind of like a popsicle stick, and I'm gonna put one of my fingers on that, and I'm gonna use that area. It's nice and smooth. I'm gonna use that area to help me drag a little bit of clay from the coil down into the base. Notice how I get a nice smooth area then. I don't see a line anymore. I'm gonna do that all the way around. All right, so now you can see we have the very first bit of the vessel started. Now from here, I'm going to continue to build on. I'm going to continue to make maybe 1 or 2 more coils that are just plain lines all the way around, just to start giving it its first ½ inch or so of height. And then I'll get into adding patterns and designs. And I'm going to do that all using coils and some round little ball forms, maybe a couple little small slab designs. I'm going to continue to build and build until I have at least 5 inches of height.